इतना सफर है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Good afternoon, one and all. Thank you so much for joining us today on a special Sunday edition. Yes, Sunday is always special for us because we are presenting all the brands which are creating value in market. And today we have opportunity that today we are presenting you one more brand. The particular webinar is hosted by Mr. Maria, who is the chairman at Franchise India Group, along with our second panel member, Ms. Sonia Chaudhary. She is the MD at Franchise India Brands Limited. Today, we are presenting you brand from Pune, Water Sandwich. They are already operational with 15 outlets, 12 in Pune, 3 in Mumbai, and more are coming on their way. And we have privileged that Mr. Hussain Rokhanwala is with us today, who is the CEO at Water Sandwich, talking about his journey and his brand, what kind of the value proposition they are creating in market, and if you want to go for this franchisee, what all you need from your side. So thank you so much, Hussain sir, for joining us today. Over to you.
And before,
thank you so much for the introduction.
Before
Yes.
I think Hussain, you start, I would like to add that when I first spoke to Hussain and he had a dream that why we would have to bring in a brand from outside like Subway and become a big success story. Why as Indians, such a large population, we would not have ability to make a better sandwich brand ourselves. So that was a thought process of his starting off, and which I felt was very interesting in these times where we all talking about made in India brands and opportunity of creating our own, because we know our palette, we know our structure, we have all the abilities to create better and better formulation. And he will give you a story about it. Before Hussain, you start, give us a little story about how this whole thing happened with you, because people should know sometimes founders have to tell their story. Businesses are fine, businesses happen, but your story is more important to me, because, and that's what I encourage a lot of youngsters to think through, that how they can create their own original idea and take it to the market. Over to you, Hussain, and welcome.
I'll just bother you here, Bharat sir. Before we start and Hussain shares his story, we have a small video for all our attendees. So I would request Dheeraj to play a small video and then probably
yummy start to my day. My breakfast today was not only tasty and affordable, but also healthy and fresh. What a sandwich. If it wasn't for What a Sandwich, I would be starving. From early morning breakfast to post-party hunger, just order from What a Sandwich.
Do I have the stage for me?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Maurya. Thank you for the warm introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Hussain Lokhanwala. I am the proud owner of the brand What a Sandwich. And today it gives me great pleasure to present you my brand credentials. So I'll just open up my presentation. Right. So here I'm presenting you my brand credentials. It will help you understand the brand a little more. As Mr. Maurya said, that every brand needs to have a story. How did we come in our origin? How did we actually begin our operations? So this gives me an opportunity to share our story. This happened in the year 2013 when we were thinking of entering the food and beverages market. And when we were entering, we realized that there were too many players already doing pizzas and burgers and rolls and Chinese, but nobody is doing something in submarine sandwiches. In fact, even back then, there was no competition to Subway. If you fast forward now in 2020, you don't see much competition to Subway. So Subway enjoys a kind of a monopolistic market. We thought that if we enter this kind of a market and we changed the nuances of what Subway is not offering, there is room for us to grow. So we wanted to change our product, which could be bigger in size and more affordable in price. That gives us a bit of a competitive advantage to Subway. That went well with my vision statement. My vision, my motto of my brand is to offer nutritious food, delicious food, and at an upper delicious rate. In 2015, we had a game-changing strategy. We modeled ourselves as a delivery kitchen restaurant only. And there were a lot of advantages when we were operating as a delivery kitchen restaurant. A lot of people understand what is a delivery kitchen. It goes with a lot of names. It goes with delivery kitchen, dark kitchen, ghost kitchen, cloud kitchen. So what exactly is a delivery kitchen? A delivery kitchen is what exactly it is. What the name suggests. You operate as a delivery kitchen model only. So यहाँ पे आपके advantages बहुत हो जाते हैं when you operating as a delivery kitchen. वो advantages आप पहले तो आपका rental cost बहुत बढ़ जाता है. Your overhead cost, because as a delivery kitchen you don't need a very high profile area. You don't need front facade area. So you save on your rental cost, you save on your overhead cost. There is absolutely zero furniture cost, interior cost, ambience cost. So you save money there. You don't need any front-end employees as managers or concierge services. तो वहाँ पे आपका manager और services में आपके बच जाते हैं sir costings. In our business, we have very low dependency on heavy duty appliances and equipment. So you save money on heavy duty appliances and infrastructure. Anything in an area of about 200, 250 square feet is good enough for me to operate in a delivery kitchen. So you don't need area for kitchen, area for people to dine in, area for parking. You don't need to worry about that. 200 square feet is good enough for me to operate. As a practice, this is my competitive edge in a delivery kitchen, the longer working hours. My operating hours are about 21 hours a day. How do I do that? Is because मेरे kitchens सुबह 7 बजे से रात को 4 बजे तक operate करते हैं. See, a traditional restaurant operates between 11 to 11. That's a 12-hour window. But as a practice, all my delivery kitchens work from 7 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the night. That's about 21 working hours. When you have so many sellable hours, it means your sales are also high. So accordingly, you take the benefit. One more advantage in a delivery kitchen is the plug and play. So कितनी बार हमारे से ऐसा होता है कि आपका business pickup हो गया है and then the property owner, the landlord, he makes unreasonable increments in the rent. 25%, 30%. At that point of time when your business is set, you don't have much option. Either you abide by it or you relocate, but you have a loss in sale. But here you don't have any problem, because even if you relocate, the end customer does not need to know where you're operating for. So long as you're visible on Swiggy and Zomato, that should not hurt you in terms of relocation. So what is the brand offering to you? What is it that I'm pitching to you? Whenever you invest in the brand Water Sandwich, you'll also get 3 additional brands. So you get a total of 4 brands in one investment. And all these 4 brands work on their own independent strategies, own independent menu, pricing. So none of them are cannibalizing each other. What are these 4 brands? I'll just explain to you in brief and what's the USP. Water Sandwich, as a brand, we're only selling submarine sandwiches and salads. Here my USP is I become a default option to Subway. In Hero, we are selling only premium panini Italian sandwiches. So here my advantage is that if you look in the market, there is no panini sandwich player in the market. There is no chain player for paninis. In Powman, it's a revolutionary product. It's a very novel concept. What we have done is we have taken the simple pav and given them a Indo-Western fusion pav burger status. It's an elevated experience. So here we are actually pioneering a new product only in the entire market. And the last brand is Go Kirana Go, where we are selling all daily essentials. So during the COVID, when everybody was closing down their operations and it was very difficult to do business, we saw it as an opportunity. And we saw it as an opportunity to even supply daily essentials from our same delivery kitchen. So everything will be delivered to your doorstep in terms of daily essentials. There's a little more brand info. Of course, I'll be sharing this presentation to whoever's interested investors. But just to elaborate a little more, Hero, we designed it in such a way that we were targeting only the elite section of the society. It's a very premium product. Of course, the pricing is also higher. And because the pricing is higher, the margins are also very deep. So this gives you an advantage of floating another brand within your delivery kitchen. Powman, as I said, it's an elevated experience of eating a pav. It's not the same typical vada pav. You get a very premium feeling of eating a pav. It's actually an Indo-Western fusion flavors mixed. So this also gives you a new experience of eating a product. And I said about Go Kirana Go, we are selling all daily essentials, right from bread, chicken, paneer, milk, sauces, eggs, whatever you need it. You can supply that all from your delivery kitchen itself. All right, yes. So I'm going to here speak about the multi-brand kitchen. A lot of people ask me, what is the point of having so many brands? Wouldn't it be better कि आपने सब एक ही brand में inculcate कर दिया होता था instead of having 4 different brands? So the advantages of running a multi-brand kitchen are so much that it is not even worth for a debate why you shouldn't operate as a multi-brand kitchen. I'm just going to cite some of the advantages here. The first advantage is you get recognized of being a specialist. कितनी बार ऐसे हमारे साथ हुआ है कि हम लोग एक रेस्टोरेंट में जाते हैं और वहाँ पे सब कुछ बेचते हो, पिज्जा, बर्गर, चाइनीज, इटालियन, कॉन्टिनेंटल. By the time you're done with the menu, you're so confused, you don't know what to eat. You have a doubt. Okay, what am I ordering? Is it good enough? So here we have taken up on our onus that whenever someone comes to our platform, he has doubt that we are specialists in our trade. If you look at Water Sandwich, customer coming in, there will be no doubt that the person out there will be knowing that this is the best specialist in submarine sandwiches. Same thing for Hero. When he comes down that platform, he knows that we sell paninis as a special product. So that way we have got ourselves identified as a specialist. अंग्रेजी में कहावत होती है, jack of all, master of none. So we wanted to make sure that in our trade we are a specialist, we are a master of our own trade. Menu also look very simple. कितनी बार ऐसा भी हो जाता है कि you made a decision that I want to eat, but because you had so many choices, you become confused. In fact, you even drop the idea of ordering what you wanted. So you, as a restaurant owner, have a loss in sale. We wanted to avoid that. We made sure that our menu is very simple. So any customer who's coming to make a decision, makes it easier for them to make a decision. Our operating cost also remains the same. Not necessarily because I'm operating 4 brands, मेरे cost बढ़ जाते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरा cost बढ़ गया in terms of rental. My rental remains the same. My salaries remain the same. My utilities remain the same. But what increases is my sales. Because my sale increases 4 times. But obviously, if I'm having 4 different avenues to generate sales, my sale will increase, but not my operating cost. I also get to reach out a bigger market share because not necessarily everybody will love Water Sandwich. Some may like Hero. If they don't like Hero, I can target them with Powman. If not with Powman, at least I can target them with Go Kirana Go. So technically, I'm getting to reach my customers' wallet share with 4 different options. That gives me an advantage of capturing the market. my advertising cost is also reduced, because even if I advertise for one brand, the other 3 brands get a piggyback advantage. तो अगर मैंने एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट भी दे दिया 3 ब्रांड का, मुझे माइलेज मिल जाता है. What we have made sure is, even though the menu is different for all brands, the preparation style is different, the basic ingredients remains the same. So you have a better churning out of inventory. When you are using the same ingredient across all 4 brands, you have a better churn out of inventory. So you don't need to worry about dead stock or wastages. And the bottom line is that because you're operating 4 brands at one operating cost, it will take you a mathematical miracle to fail. Because without increasing cost, if you're increasing sales, that's the beauty of every business. Here I'm going to speak about my product USP. What is it that makes my product sell? So here, my biggest advantage is that my item is very unique. I have very little competition in whatever brands and whatever product I'm selling. When they teach you business strategies, they teach you about a red ocean strategy and a blue ocean strategy. A red ocean strategy is one which is filled with competition. Itna competition hai, everybody is cutting you left, right, and center. There's a cutthroat competition. You're bleeding with margins. As a metaphor, your pura ocean khoon se bhara hua hai. That's why it's called a red ocean strategy. We didn't want to be in that strategy. We wanted to be in a blue ocean strategy. A blue ocean is that entire ocean, entire fish is for your disposal. So you yourself are the competition. Their competition is very limited. So that makes it you to enjoy monopolistic trade. You become entire ocean is for your disposal. So you can enjoy monopolistic practices. One more advantage in this product is it can be eaten, consumed anytime during the day. You can make it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, late nights, dinner, whatever. See, you don't have this advantage if you have a different product like a biryani or a Mughlai or a Chinese. You cannot have that any time of the day. So as I mentioned in my previous slide that we are operating 21 working hours, it is because my product can be eaten anytime during the day, which makes every hour sellable hour for me. As a practice, we only use whole wheat bread. It is in line with my motto of serving nutritious food. So we don't have a white bread culture. It's only whole wheat bread. We also don't have a frozen food culture. All our purchases are fresh. So right from the chicken, paneer, bread, sauces, everything will be procured to you fresh every day. When it is a fresh food experience, customer also knows it, he enjoys it. There's a higher chance for repeat sales. We have a great packaging. Even before COVID, we made sure that if you are operating as a delivery kitchen, हमारा packaging बहुत अच्छा रहना चाहिए. So customer को जब product आना चाहिए, तो it should come nice and compact. Product should be warm. It should not be tampered proof. So we have made sure that our packaging is in store. Great menu. In fact, we are selling from sliced bread sandwiches to burgers, to salads, to submarines. Everything is there. And our price point starts from 29, goes up to 299. So there is something for everyone. Our food cost is also low. We operate at a 30% food cost, which gives you 70% of operating margins to play with. And also importantly, we have a pan-India supply. हमारे जो vendors हैं, they're very well established. We do business with Godrej, Venky's, Fun Foods, Viva. These are some of our partners. Because their supply is pan-India, that really helps us to provide anywhere in the country. This is also one critical point, staffing and labor. Every restaurant has this one headache. How do you take care of staffing and labor? So here, how did we take care of this problem? I'm going to share this. As a business, we don't require any chefs or ustad because none of the product has to be made from scratch. Everything has to be assembled. There is nothing which you need to make in your store, with your staff's help, has to be made from scratch. Everything will be provided to you. All you need to do is assemble the sandwich. We don't have any managers requirement because there is no customer interaction. Because there is no customer interaction, you save the cost of hiring of managers. Even with people with less skill sets can come and join our force because you don't require much skill sets to operate and assemble the sandwich. So what happens with the advantage of less skill sets is you don't need to pay heavy salaries. You don't need to worry about incremental salaries when your business is picking up. I'll give you an example here. Imagine you are running a restaurant which is biryani and Mughlai, and no sooner did your restaurant take off, your chef is dictating terms by saying, you increase my salary, otherwise मैं निकलता हूँ. तभी आपके पास दो ऑप्शन रहता है. Either you increase the salary every 3-6 months, नहीं तो फिर you take a risk by hiring someone, but then you have a risk of change in quality and taste. But here we don't need to worry about it. Not only are the employees with limited skill sets, so you can always negotiate with their salaries, but if you have a high attrition rate, we don't need much training period for the next person to come and get adjusted in the system. it takes about 7 to 10 days of training period for the next person to get trained enough and to be inculcated in the system. Also, more importantly, we also provide labor services. So a lot of franchisees have a problem in sourcing labor. We have a great labor pool. We work with great labor contractors. In case if you feel that you need to have labor services, we are also out here to provide you labor services. So a lot of my potential investors ask me, "Okay, if the business is so good, what are my responsibilities? What is it that I'm supposed to do?" Of course, when we are signing up the agreement, responsibilities will be mentioned more elaborately. But here in brief, I'll just explain you what are the responsibilities as a franchise owner and what are the responsibilities as a brand owner. The franchisee, the responsibilities only lies in you have to pay the rent and salaries on time. You have to make sure that the material you have purchased, you make the payments on time. You make sure that whatever company protocols are there, you follow that correctly. And of course, the kitchen is practiced with safe and hygiene practices are followed. And also keep your employees motivated so that they can be coming into the work every day and make sure that they do sales for you. But that does not end there. My responsibilities as a brand owner are also there. What are my responsibilities are to make sure that all the stores are present online across all platforms. We have to provide you material across the country. So whatever material you needed, you should get your material. Your labor, your staff, the training is done correctly so that they have no problem in making the sandwiches. We strongly believe in brand level advertising. So you're getting the mileage of that brand level advertising. And as a practice, each franchisee gets exclusive rights from us of 3 kilometers. Within that 3 kilometers, you will be the whole and sole king to operate all the 4 brands. Here I'm sharing you some of my food shots. This is exactly how the product looks for people to understand what we do. There's a menu also for people to understand. Of course, I'll be sharing this presentation to interested parties. They can have a look at what we are offering, at what rates. As I mentioned, we strongly believe in brand level advertising. So what we do in brand level advertising is print ads. So you can see a couple of the print ads we have done. In fact, this year we had tied up with Hotstar to do advertising for IPL. So anytime anyone who's going to tune in to watch the IPL on Hotstar platform would be able to see our ads. Unfortunately, the IPL is postponed, but whenever it does open up, we are ready in stock to have that advertisement done on Hotstar platforms. I'm going to share our growth story, what has been our story for the last 7 years. If you see, in 2013, we were a traditional restaurant where we were operating from a proper locale where we are serving customers as a dine-in and takeaway model, not too much focused in a delivery kitchen. It took me about 2.5 years to open my second store. And it was because the investment was very heavy. The recovery of the investment was very heavy. So the first 2.5 years was a little difficult time for me. In 2015, we changed our business model. We made sure that we operate only as a delivery kitchen model. And if you see that in between 2015 and 2018, we have grown to 6 stores. In 2018-19, we shook hands with Franchise India. We had a great partnership with them and we started franchising out stores. Between that tenure, we had grown to about 18 stores. For the next 2-3 years, my vision is to have about 15 stores across the country and also to reach international markets like Dubai, Sharjah, UAE, USA. So that's our growth story. Now here I'm going to talk about our business economics. How much does the delivery kitchen investment cost? A delivery kitchen investment cost is about 12 lakhs. And there's a breakup of what you're going to get in those 12 lakhs model. You get all the restaurant equipment from us, technological equipment from us, licensing will be done by us, everything from the laptop, computer, printer, mobile phone, documentation. We will have end-to-end solutions for this. Once you have invested 12 lakhs, you don't need to invest anything more. There is no add-on cost to this. So 12 lakhs is the investment. Franchisee fee is included of all 4 brands. That's a value of 5 lakhs. So total project cost is 12 lakhs. Here I'm going to speak about how, if once you have made the investment of 12 lakhs, how you're going to get that recovery back. What's your rate of return on investment going to be like? So here is a very interesting slide. It's a brief illustration on how you're going to recover your investment. First, I'm going to speak about sales. How is it your sales are going to be? So basically, any brand of ours, if you take an average ticket size, a ticket size would be about 350 to 400 rupees. We need to aim for about 10 orders per brand. That's about 40 orders a day. So 10 orders per brand gives you 40 orders. If you book it at 400 rupees as an average order, you're getting about 16,000 as your daily sale. Now, I like to clear this out. I know a lot of brands, a lot of restaurant promises that need to have a sale of 50,000, 60,000 per day. I'm going to be very transparent. We are living in a very tough time. It's a very unprecedented time. COVID is a very tough atmosphere for all. So I wanted to make sure that on a very conservative sale of 15,000, is it good enough for you to earn profit? That is why I'm taking a very low conservative sale figure. So let's assume 15,000 as a day per day sale. That's a monthly sale of 4.5 lakhs. Now let's look at your deductibles. Your first deductible is the food cost. As I explained earlier, 30% is our food cost. That is taken away as a first deductible. Your second deductible is commission to online partners. Swiggy, Zomato, Dunzo, they all take commission. So it ranges from 15 to 20%. Let's assume 20% as a benchmark, and we take that as a second deductible. Third deductible is the local level advertising. Every franchise will have to do a local level advertising, be it on Swiggy, Zomato, or social media. Let's consider 1,500 rupees per day as the advertising budget. That's my third deductible. And the fourth deductible is the fixed cost, which includes the rent, salaries, and utilities. There's a breakup given for that. So what is it? All in all, your net profit you can aim to earn is over a lakh rupees. So when you're saying that you can earn a lakh rupees, please bear in mind this is on a very conservative sale figure of 15,000 rupees per day. If you notice 4.5 lakhs, if you're earning a lakh rupees profit, that's about 20% of net returns. And if you're making a lakh rupees, and of course, every business will grow after 3 months, 6 months, you'll have an incremental growth. But let's take it that your business does not grow. Your business is stuck at 15,000 rupees per day for the whole entire year. It'll take you about 10 to 12 months to recover the investment of 12 lakhs. The contract period is for 60 months. So your first 10, 12 months has gone in recovery of the investment. The next 50, 60 months is all investment free. This is a bonus slide. I'm going to offer you an opportunity where you can operate a kitchen without paying any rent. So how does this work? Is that we have a great partnership with Swiggy, and Swiggy has offered us a kind of an opportunity where we can operate within their kitchen and not pay rent. So I'll explain this a little more elaborately. Some of you may be aware that Swiggy has their own private brands. And whenever they are venturing into a new area or a city, they take up a building about 4,000 square feet and they allow their private brands to operate in that space. Now, fortunately for us, the product which we are offering is no way cannibalizing Swiggy's sales. There is no way that we are offering something which Swiggy is also offering and that could be a chance of cannibalizing. So because we are offering something very unique, they have offered us an opportunity to come do business with us. We'll give you, in return, we'll give you a free space, so you don't need to pay rent. Now, of course, when you're not paying rent, that's a big advantage. I like to just understand what are the other advantages when you're operating in a zero rental model. First is, of course, no rentals charged. You will not be charged any rent, so that's taken care of. You don't need to worry about any deposits or brokerage. You don't need to worry about your capital getting stuck, because in any new business, you'll have to give about 6 months of gestation period. But since you're not paying any rent here, your 6 months of rent is saved, your working capital is saved. You will get safety and security because you are operating in Swiggy's kitchen. So there will never be a time because you're operating late hours, the police comes in, harasses you, or certain of the local goons come and harass you. You don't have that kind of issue. You will get a larger radius. As a practice, Swiggy offers 4 to 5 kilometers radius. But if you're operating within the kitchen, your radius goes up by about 8 to 9 kilometers. You will get the advantage of co-funding discounts. आप थोड़ा discount दो, Swiggy थोड़ा discount देगा, they'll match it up, the customer gets a bigger discount. And bottom line is that because they're not charging you any rent, the only way Swiggy will make money from you is by commissions. So the onus is on them to do the sales for you. The more sales you do, the more money they earn via commissions. This is a very limited period offer. This is only for certain franchisees on a first come basis. So please do take advantage of this. We also have an Independence Day offer. If everybody who keeps an interest in this brand, whatever I made, if you feel that the brand makes sense to invest, you can secure your investment by paying 10% before the 15th August. And this is what we shall offer you. You will get the investment at 10 lakhs, not 12 lakhs. So we'll give you a 2 lakhs discount. If you opt for the zero rental model, of course, your rentals are zero. As a practice, we take 7% royalty on sales. But if you secure your investment before the 15th August, we'll waive off the royalty for you. And whenever you want to renew the contract, after 5 years, we have to renew the contract. We charge 50% as a franchise renewal fee. We'll waive that also for you. So you'll get these complete bunch of savings if you secure your investment before the 15th of August. We're coming to the end right now. I just want to sum up the competitive advantage my existing franchisees enjoy in this platform. First of all, you can earn without being physically present. What does this mean is the business does not require you to be physically present to make sure it works. You can continue with your primary job, primary business, and make sure this works secondary income for you. How is that possible is because of online monitoring. We will be giving you partner access apps for which you can access your own store, and you will understand how many hours was your store on, how many orders did you get for the day, how many orders got rejected, if any. You'll get real-time rating, customer analysis. So if you got 1-star rating, 4-star rating, 5-star rating, if you're getting multiple 1-star rating, what is the problem? Cash management is zero. You don't need to worry about cash in the system because all the money comes in your account. So there'll never be a situation where your employee says, sir, cash chori ho gaya, ya chutti dene mein problem aa gaya. There'll never be a case. You'll have a perfect stock management. As I explained, 30% is our food cost. Whatever is your sale, consider 30% as your food cost, and you'll understand if you have any wastages of pilgrimage. And also, we have taken out the equation of heavy overheads. Now, in a situation like right now we are in, where lockdowns are initiated left, right, and center. Imagine your situation if you have taken a premises on rent and you're paying a rent of 60,000, 80,000, a lakh, and you cannot operate. So here you get the advantage of operating on a very low overhead cost. In fact, if you see my previous slides, my fixed cost, my rental cost is not more than 25,000-30,000 rupees. In fact, if you take a zero rental model, your rentals are zero. So we are operating on a very less burden of overheads. All right, this is my last pitch to you. Why should you franchise with us? What is it that we are giving you as an advantage? So as a brand, the first thing, we are giving you the opportunity of working 4 brands in unison without increasing cost. It is not that all the 4 brands will cannibalize each other because they all work on an independent strategy. So as a brand, we are promising you 4 established brands working together to achieve higher sales. A lot of brands may promise you 0 royalty and 0 franchisee renewal fee. We are also offering you a 0 rental model, so you can take advantage of. Right from men, material and marketing support will be provided for you. From labor services, you've seen the terms of brand advertising we do, and the material will be provided to you. So everything from men, material and marketing will be provided. You'll get the advantage of exclusive rights within your area. You'll be the whole and sole king of 3 kilometers where you'll be operating Water Sandwich, Hero, Powman and Go Kirana. We have one of the lowest operating expenses in the business. So that will not give a load to your working capital. And as I explained earlier, even on a very conservative low sale, profits are possible. So that gives you a big advantage of without taking too much of a headache of how your sales are and how your profits are going to be made. Thank you for your time. This is my presentation to you. Of course, now I'm open for question and answers.
Thank you, Hussain. Very lovely presentation. As your product speaks for itself, you also a seasoned entrepreneur and very committed for many years. So we'll take up a lot of questions. Archana, can you take the slides off so that we can have an interactive? So I think it's a good presentation. We were able to really capture a lot of things in the business model, and I like your business model because it's one low cost. It's a dark kitchen model, which means you don't have too much of rental, and you are now also have Swiggy coming with you, which is a 0 rental kind of an opportunity also. We like the analysis on what you said, that you have a proprietary product or a less, so to say, lesser crowded industry. Say, for example, if you're in biryani or in a pizza or a burger or any other chain, you have too many players available. I think in the sandwich category is not there. And all the 4 brands also you've created, you have done a very good job in terms of keeping the operational fit. We call it 4 fits in when menu is designed: strategic fit, financial fit, operational fit, and marketing fit. Operational fit is very important. It's easy to make a lot of brands, but each brand would have different operational capability, and it would ask for a different equipment also. So if you add Chinese, it looks very interesting that I can add Chinese, but then you have a Chinese range to be added. You need to have a chef, which is a Chinese, and a couple of other things would need adding, and your supply chain would also change. But what you have intelligently done is that you created maybe three brands, one a regular brand, one premium brand out of the same sandwich, and one you created a pav, which is also by process is the same assembly line process. You just same assembly line, you get the bread, you fill it up, and you put some dressings and send it there. So rather, he's created three different levels of the same product, which is very, very value, which is a pav product. Second is a mid-level sandwich product, which is a submarine sandwich product. And then he has the premium product. And then add to on this is very commodity, which means the Kriana, which is very complex to do, but I kept on to that structure. But, in these times, people don't mind if you can get us some convenience product also easily doing it. While I think between the three food products, I think there is a good synergy and good structure, and we really like that design of that. A lot of people confuse it because a lot of people try to give you multiple kitchens which have complex operations in each of them, and they try to from outside look very good, but they're a nightmare to operate. So which means that if you want one small kitchen of 300 square feet, you put Chinese, Indian, this and that thing, you cannot even imagine what is going on in the kitchen. You have one side tandoor going in, one side Chinese going on, one side you have other brands. So it's easy to put all these brands, but very, very difficult to manage and operate. So you've done it intelligently. So congratulations on that. Now I think let's get into the business model, because you have successfully run the business model, and you know how this business is running. You also talked about the kind of sales ratios and so on and so forth. With the delivery side of business, I've found there are two big challenges which are coming in. One, there is the throughput. While it looks like 21 hours of trading, which is very good, because that I like 21 hours trading, because end of the day, it's a real estate, you need to sweat it out, and you are sweating out the most. I don't think anybody who's doing 21 hours of trading. But 21 hours of trading would also mean that 3 odd shifts for you. So how your manpower is planned, and that's one. Second, what I was asking is that the throughput of delivery business is very radical. Sometimes I see a very big numbers suddenly start coming in, and somewhere we see a very, very low numbers. Sometimes, deliveries are as low as some dark kitchens are doing 50,000, 40,000, 30,000 kind of sales these days. So where are you placed, and how do you ensure that your throughput is very consistent? Because if you run three shifts, while your manpower I'm sure would be leaner, but 3 shifts is a big task to run. It's like a full factory running for three different timelines. So over to you. Then just give us a little bit of your business model. How do you do that, and what kind of trading hours get the maximum yield?
Definitely. So I'll speak about my labor part. When we're operating 21 hours, it's only because whatever the platform is giving us in an opportunity to operate in those hours. For example, in Pune and Mumbai, we have the opportunity to operate from 7 to 4. Opportunity in Bangalore is 24/7. We can keep our kitchen 24/7. So whatever area the platform allows us, we want to take the advantage of it. Coming back, how do you manage it with the shifts? Of course, we require shifts, but the advantage in our business is because the product is so simple. You just need to assemble it, and the preparation time is also very limited. It takes about 7 minutes to make a sandwich. So whenever you get an order, it takes about 7 minutes, because the employee out there just has to assemble it. He doesn't need to talk to any customer. He doesn't need to do any interaction. He doesn't need to punch out any order. Soon as the order comes into the system, he just needs to read it, assemble it, and give it according to the delivery person. So here, even I don't require much employee help. In fact, the 21 working hours, we operate on 3 people shift. So when one person finishes off, you just require one person in the kitchen to execute the orders. You don't require a whole bunch of members. One person is good enough to accept the order, understand the order, make the sandwich. The whole process takes about 7 minutes. The delivery comes in about 10, 12 minutes. The customer gets the order in about 30 minutes. So that's how the whole process is completed. Initially, of course, if the area does not allow us that many hours, then you operate only with 2 people. But as and when your business increases, 3 people shift is required, and they work on shift basis.
But they would also have a duty roster, 1 day holiday, so they would cope up with each other.
Definitely, that's also the work it is. So technically, in a week time, Monday and Tuesday is a relatively slow day. So Monday and Tuesdays is when we allow them the opportunity to take the break. But 8 hours is the roster. So out of the week, 2 days you can take off a holiday, and the business works out primarily maximum on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, the equation which you said about the sales, before COVID, we used to do really well. Of course, COVID has hit all businesses, not just the restaurant business, but all the businesses. But because we had this game-changing strategy of including Go Kirana Go, that has elevated our sales. See, in Go Kirana Go, there is no preparation cost, there is no training required. The employee just has to pick up this item and give it to the delivery person. So here there is no add-on expense, but there is an add-on sale. So the demand for the market right now is because of the lockdown, shops are not open. People are little unsecure or on the safety. Will I get COVID if I go outside? So here we have taken that equation and looked into our advantage. Use whatever the restaurant material is, we can sell it as kirana, which is bread, pav, sliced bread sandwich. There is chicken, of course. There is paneer. We have sauces. We have frozen food products. We have cold drinks. Some of these items work as kirana, and we supply it across. That
This would
increases your sales too.
ask for a more investment from your side, because you would have to have a lot of stocks with you.
Yeah, so you need to keep a 2-day stock. We will get you connected with the CNF agents there, and you just need to operate like how a regular kirana works. You operate on a day alternate basis. Alternate days you'll get your material from the CNF agent, and you can stock up accordingly.
Sure. So this is also important, that you need to have maybe 100 square feet additional dry store along with your entire thing if you really want to do Kirana business. And my suggestion to a lot of investors would be, first start with the food business and then later add the Kirana, because unless and until you have throughput, you should not get into FMCG, because FMCG has stock to turnover and you need to build it up over the time.
No,
But it's good to-
honestly, Mr. Maria, I'll just cut you short here. In the Go Kirana Go, you have the choice of what you want to sell. Not necessarily you may just have to stock up with FMCG. You can use your basic items, which is chicken, paneer, which is going to use at the restaurant. So that way you don't have any dead stock. So yes, we have the option of increasing your menu. If you feel that you want to use FMCG products, we give you that option. But if you want to do FMCG products, you can use the exact same product which are used in the restaurant, the basic ingredients, and you can use it in Go Kirana Go.
Yeah, correct. So essentially, but that's what I'm trying to say, that fruit and vegetables and your proteins and your dairy anyway comes to your store,
Correct.
and you have supply and you can use those same thing. A lot of hotels are doing it. A lot of other people are doing it. But again, you need to come down to because they're all perishable. So
Definitely.
it's not that you build up the stock and you don't get sales and you start not able to do that. So it's a very sensitive structure. It's chicken and egg. What comes first? But it's a very interesting business model. It's a very synergetic business model he's created. So all the three kitchens look very differently from a positioning, brand, menu engineering, and so on and so forth, but they come from a same kind of cycle. It's the leanest model of food I've seen, which can run and complete operations in one person per shift kind of a model. So it becomes very leaner. So it is a very low OPEX kind of a framework, even 20,000-30,000 rupees a rent, maybe three people working. So the entire cost really is about 60,000-70,000 rupees, and then you have food cost. So even if you are able to do a reasonable sales, you will be able to make financial sense in the business model. So it's a very interesting in that sense. Now let's go into your expansion and try to understand where is the expansion coming in. A lot of people asking tier 2, tier 3, is a master franchise available? What is the plan? I mean, what is the 50? Because you said 18 to 50 you're going. Now what is the 50 going to be? Is it a mix of building
See,
cluster?
as the business model is all about delivery kitchen, yes, whichever areas the online platforms do well, that would be our first target. So Swiggy, Zomato, whichever areas they do well, we'll be able to target that. We're looking at all the tier 1 and tier 2 cities. In
If
terms
you
of
want to prioritize some 10 names, because we
definitely
have a
Bangalore is a big opportunity for us. Delhi is a great opportunity for us. We just recently ventured in Mumbai in the month of February, and our biggest achievement was having a great store in Cuff Parade. So that's one of our biggest achievements as a brand. Now we are looking to venture in Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad. For a business like us to operate, we do really well if we are near an IT market or we are near an IT place. If we are very near college and universities, we do really well. If it's a great establishment of gated community, we do really well. So we are looking to identify areas where all these 3 parameters or 4 parameters are met. Any of these parameters are met where you have a great workspace culture, you have a great university culture or great gated community culture, we are bound to do really well. One more advantage I have is because whenever we are venturing any new area, be it Bangalore, be it Delhi, within that city of Bangalore, it could be HSR, it could be Belandur, we have the advantage of taking data from Swiggy and Zomato. So whenever we are venturing a new area, I call up for the reports from Swiggy and Zomato. How well is Subway doing? How well is, if Subway is not operating there, how well is the fast food market there? That gives me enough data for me to understand should I venture into that area or not. So yes, 50 outlets. We're looking at prime areas like Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Indore. All these cities we're looking at to venture in. And of course, if God willing, everything works out, we're also looking at international markets like Dubai. In fact, we have already got opportunities. We're just trying to figure out our supply chains. How do we figure out of sending the material out there? So God willing, it should work out soon.
Sure. So it's, if you are in Bangalore or in Hyderabad particularly, if you are in a, in IT side, Gachibowli and other places which are in IT areas in high-tech city. And if you are in Gurgaon, Noida, Chennai has a big market for this. Calcutta, Sector 5, which is also an IT places. These are places the business would do extremely well. And also he's talking about that if you are in a neighborhood which has a good housing societies and so on and so forth, that also can do very well. Or university areas where you are near to bigger universities where 5,000-7,000 students are there. So they obviously normally have a lot of sandwiches, because Subway also has a very strong student community which really loves going to a Subway and enjoying a sandwich. So, and I think the whole space of people now eating better hygienic food and ordering any time of the day convenience is getting bigger and bigger. And this is a good time to enter the market, establish yourself, and as this things come back to normal, your business can thrive. Now I'll talk about the last question, which I will take, and then I'll invite Sonia. What is your supply chain? What you said, you have all the national vendors, and the biggest area of differentiation for Subway has been the bread, because they bake their own bread and they side, and the capex goes up, and a lot of investment actually franchisee puts in the freshly baked bread. And I also know that they only bake once in a time, so it looks like it's very fresh, but technically they are baking only once in a day. And it's not that you come there and they put in the bake, because otherwise you have to wait for another hour and a half to get your bread. But from a psychological viewpoint, a lot of people think that, wait, what would I be waiting is just baked there and then. It's actually baked every single day, like all the breads are, but you eat it at home also is also baked at once in a day. So it's the same kind of cycle, but they do it at the store. So what do you do? I mean, and a lot of people have asked question that they don't get that same bread quality as suppliers in their city if they want to take in their city. What would be this? Because everything else, I know there are national suppliers. Protein, your national suppliers. Dairy, you have national suppliers. The Vipa or the companies which do sauces for you are all national suppliers, and they are the same suppliers for Subway. Only differentiation is going to be the bread. Where is the bread coming from you?
So for bread also, we have tied up with a national vendor. Cremica is one of our bread suppliers. They do our bread duties. So fortunately, Cremica has a great distribution network. Cremica can also provide you breads pan India. We have also other vendors along with Cremica. So we're not just having all our eggs in one basket. We have other vendors also too. But technically speaking, you got it right. Of course, bread is a very essential product. So what we do is that when the bread is sent across to all the stores, all they need to do is thaw it accordingly to what they need it. And then the bread is as good as fresh when they need to consume it. So you don't need to worry if your bread is coming only from Pune or from Bombay. We have a great distribution network across the country. Cremica really helps us out. Viva really helps us out. Fun Foods really helps us out. So that way you are going to get your commodities delivered to your doorstep whenever you need to place the order.
So it comes as a frozen and then you thaw it, and
definitely then, yes.
So it creates because of technology now you can really get the same quality of taste and structure and the freshness of the bread, because it comes as a frozen product and you just have to thaw it and it's ready to be given fresh to the customer. So it's a good cycle, and that brings in a standardization of all the breads and other things. Now over to you, Sonia, for your remark on the opportunity and also the questions you want to.
Thank you so much, Hussein, for this presentation. and coming on the webinar today. I think this has been a very interesting conversation which has been going on. And I also, just to add on, I think this segment was dominated only by global players, or I would say, one player, where sandwiches actually came into mainstream. And there was a big gap in the market, which is localization and customization for the Indian audience. And irrespective which menu or which cuisine people, love to have, they always like the Indian a bit of it, which is customization and local taste, which I think you have been able to integrate very well. And I was also in the last few months, a lot of people who have started going online and buying online deliveries, especially the last 1.5 odd month. What we've been reading, you mentioned about Swiggy, all these platforms, they also have an increase delivery, which has about 25 to 30% more takeaways which have started happening, and also the value per order has increased because more people have started to consume at home. So I'm sure, I don't know if you have any feedback on that, because the ticket per size or the value, the APCs comparatively have gone up than what it was pre-COVID. So I like to understand, and I see that question also from the audience, because you have migrated from maybe the food service to a completely delivery platform. What kind of revenue shift are you seeing, one? And second, what kind of efficiencies you think this model has versus the earlier model that you were doing?
Definitely.
5%.
So the first question is, COVID, we are looking at it as an opportunity because the market was already flooded with a lot of competition. And COVID, if I'm going to be a little optimist, COVID has helped me clean off 70% of the competition. So earlier I was there was a lot of competition, as I explained, about the red ocean strategy. There was too much of competition. We were really bleeding dry with the margins. Now, because of this natural calamity, we had a reduction in our competition. So by obvious default, we are available now for the customer to operate because the next competitor is not available. So that gives us an advantage of increase in orders because the demand is still going to be there. But now the supply is not there, that not many competitors available. So that gives us an advantage. Also, COVID is, by the looks of it, is going to be there for some time. At least they are expecting it to be there till the vaccine is distributed. So sometime till December, Jan, I mean, right now also none of the restaurants are operating, only operating as a takeaway and delivery model. So till the time we don't find a vaccine, this is going to be the way of life. People are just going to keep ordering it online or probably have it as a takeaway option. Dine-in is not going to be an option. So what happens to those restaurants who are operating as a dine-in culture? Their rents are not stopped. Their rents are still, they need to pay the rents. They need to pay the taxes. Their overhead costs are not stopped. They still need to pay those same overheads. So as a operating restaurant, I have a lot of burden when I'm operating as a traditional restaurant rather than operating on a very lean model as a delivery kitchen. I'll give you a scenario here also. Yes, COVID has hit us very badly also as a delivery kitchen. Some of my franchisees have shut down because maybe because of the containment issues, maybe because of the labor issues, but they can always restart again whenever they need to. They don't need to invest in the furniture again. They don't need to pay existing rent. They can cut off their losses, surrender the property, send the laborers back. When the situation comes back to normalcy, they can operate again also. So in between this time, they have saved a lot of costs. You cannot do that with a traditional restaurant. You cannot just surrender your property. You cannot just surrender your equipment, furniture costs. You have to take a big hit. So in a calamity like this also, my franchisees have not, did not had much losses in terms of operating costs. Coming back to the question of the efficiencies, yes, as a delivery kitchen model, because the big question is your operating cost is so low, chances are that in the end you will be able to see profits. Most businesses, most restaurants, they fail to earn profits is because the operating costs are so heavy. The rentals are very heavy, the overheads are heavy, the labor cost is very heavy. So chances of you making profit are very negligible. I'll just throw in a little bit of statistics. It takes in a 5-year study, it takes about 90% of the restaurants to completely fail if you're operating in a traditional restaurant route. 90% of the restaurants will fail in the next 5 years if you're operating with the traditional route. We need to embrace the change in the market. E-commerce is a beautiful change. We need to embrace it, adapt it, make sure that it is used to your advantages. And it's just not Swiggy and Zomato right now. We are already in talks with Amazon. We are already in talks with Jio. Whenever they come in start on board, we'll be able to do business. In terms of economics, in terms of statistics, the delivery kitchen business for the year 2020 is estimated to be about $1,300 billion. We're looking at a little more than that because, of course, the market dynamics also have changed. More people are more comfortable ordering online because it has been safe. It has also been proved that you're not going to get COVID by food. So people are safe by ordering online. And as a culture, we had a paradigm shift. It's a lifestyle change now. People prefer to eat out more often rather than to eat, and it saves a lot of your trouble of cooking food. Your productivity also goes down. So as a culture, I feel it's here to stay, and we need to understand that the traditional restaurant is a little more expensive to operate on a business strategy.
Well said, Payne. Another question which I want to pick, I think this zero delivery is catching a lot of attention. If you want to elaborate, are there any specific locations where the tie-up is happening, or if you have an inquiry coming from a location like Bhiwandi, there's somebody who's asking me, the gentleman called Mr. Ashish, he's keen on that location. So maybe locations like Uttarakhand, for example, Bhiwandi, for example, and there are other tier 3 or tier 2 locations where I'm seeing the interest coming from. Do you see a possibility of a tie-up with a platform like Swiggy at this point in time? And if not, what kind of model do you think would exist in markets where the current Swiggy platform or delivery is not available for that matter?
Definitely. So yes, right now the opportunities are available in Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Mumbai. But of course, they're on first come basis. So once we understand, okay, we want this area, I need to line up my query with Swiggy and make sure that that location is fixed, because a lot of people probably may have this misnomer that this location is only there for me and I can take it any time of the day. It doesn't work like that. It of course works on a level where within that kitchen, if that space is available, of course, then I can freeze in. So long right now, I have a complete confirmation that we have opportunities available in Bangalore and Delhi, which we can take advantage. Coming to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, yes, definitely I can always ask them if the kitchens are available there and they have spaces available there. If there are spaces available in cities like, say, small cities like, say, Indore or Rishikesh, if Swiggy is operating in a delivery kitchen there, all I need to is inquire. If the opportunity is available, then they can take advantage of that.
And even bigger cities like Chennai, are these open?
Yes,
I see interest
yes.
from Tamil Nadu as a whole. Some locations.
We have
Tamil Nadu
opportunities
and
in Chennai. We have opportunities in Hyderabad, Kolkata, Delhi. So tier 1 cities, so there is no doubt. We just have to understand if the opportunity in terms of place is available, if the place is vacant. But any which ways, in about 2 or 3 months, the place will be vacant. If we establish an intent, they will vacant out a place for us to do, because we don't require much square feet to operate. We require only about 200 square feet. See, a normal full-fledged restaurant will require about 400, 600 square feet. We can even manage with about 200 square feet. In fact, our kitchen in Thane, we are operating at a 150 square feet. It's a bit of a squeeze, it's a bit of a tight area, but we are managing it. So yes, definitely. I mean, the tier 1 cities, there's no worry. Tier 2 cities, I'll have to get back to the interested investor. I'll have to just make sure if Swiggy is operating those kitchens, then that opportunity will be available for them.
So, Hussain, you also mentioned about plug and play, which means the equipment is set in these kitchens. Is there any additional investment one needs to make on the equipment?
Nothing, no equipment, because my equipment is hardly anything. I just require a microwave, I require a sandwich counter, a double door refrigerator, and a deep freezer. So my equipment, dependence on equipment is very limited. So other than this equipment, I'll not require any much equipment.
So typically your initial capex is almost negligible because you
Very
don't have
limited,
any
yes.
security deposit also to be paid to Swiggy, or there's a security deposit the franchisee needs to pay?
We are negotiating right now on a security deposit. It's a very small amount of deposit which needs to just safeguard the interest. So we are negotiating on the deposit front, but yes, we'll have a limited amount of security deposit.
Okay.
It won't be more than 40,000 or 50,000.
All right. Now, because we did talk about 4 formats, and I see interest, which might, so a lot of people are asking if they're keen only on doing one or maybe a combination of 2 or 3, and maybe not groceries or any other format. Is there an option like that which is available? One, which I want to ask. Second, in continuation to the same, I'd like to also understand the split of revenue amongst these 4 categories of brands. These 2 questions.
So yes, see, the business is for the 4 models. It is best advisable that you take all 4 brands to work together in unison. Then they give you profits. We've not till now tried only with one brand. We've not had that kind of a practice where we have just given one brand and make sure that, okay, you operate with one brand, because we cannot promise you if that one brand will give you enough returns to make profits. So we are recommending to use all 4 brands because you operate those 4 brands without increasing operating costs. Just with one brand, we are hesitant. We are a little unsure if profits will be made. Coming to the ratio, Water Sandwich is my cash cow. Water Sandwich has been my primary brand. We've been operating for 7 years. So Water Sandwich primarily is a big brand that constitutes about 60 to 70% of my sales. Hero as a strategy was only designed to target the elite section of the society. We wanted to give them a very premium product, and for that we are charging a premium price. Of course, the margins are also very deep in that. So because the strategy in Hero is to be very premium, we don't get much sales, but our margins are very heavy. So Hero constitutes to about 20-25% of my sales. Powman is a relatively new concept. We just started off in the month of February. It's still taking some time to catch up. That gives me about 10-15% of the sales. And of course, Go Kirana Go is just started off in the month of May. It's still going to take some time to catch up. But being a thing in FMCG, it's more of a fast-moving item. We have enough sales just to make sure that our inventory is turned out really well.
Okay, now because the markets that you currently operate, which is, between Bombay and Pune, there's also a big player, Jumbo King, and I'm seeing that question also coming in from one of our viewers. What kind of competition are you facing from players like them?
Jumbo King is a totally different player from us. We are not in the Vada Pav category. See, Powman is not essentially just a Pav. See, I'll explain Powman a little more better or more deeper. Powman is basically, we have taken the underrated Pav and given it an elevated experience. See, for Pav, we only associate items like Vada Pav, Samosa Pav, Pav Bhaji. They are very basic items. We have taken that same pav and we have made sure that it's an elevated experience. So all our Powman products will come in whole wheat bread. All of them will be toasted. All of them will come with premium vegetables, with olives and onion and capsicum. They're premium sauces. There is, of course, a Indo-Western protein dish. So that adds to the experience. The packaging is, of course, in stock. So they've just taken the stereotypical vada pav and made sure that it's an elevated experience at not a very expensive price. So a Jumbo King probably would have just a pav, maybe a vada patty, and if you're lucky, a chutney. They don't probably promise you a whole wheat bread experience. They don't promise you premium veggies. They don't promise you premium sauces. Whereas we are promising you that. We are promising you a complete elevated experience when you're eating a pav man.
Yes, and quickly, because we are coming closer to our limit, I'll quickly take up some of the questions. Is there a master franchise model which is available in any part of the country?
Yes, definitely. We can look at a master franchise option, but of course, with every area, it comes different economics. So anyone who's interested, we can always touch base and we can speak on more on length.
All right. One thing which I want to ask.
Sorry, there's a question came on hotline. If some people want to really just use a platform, because I don't understand the Go Kirana is not a platform, just a listing on Swiggy and Zomato. So people asking that if they can take Go Kirana because Kirana is getting a huge demand these days. So there is a hotline question which is just sent to me, has come in by Mr. Krishna.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the question.
We have a question, Go Kirana, because this is a category which is catching up very fast. If somebody wants to only opt for a Kirana store,
right,
and maybe open a bigger format and do deliveries and keep maybe bigger stock.
See, as a practice, we're not just giving one brand per se. It will be very difficult for me to judge if you can make profits only by operating one brand, because the operating costs are the same, but you're just operating on one brand potential. Also, it becomes a little difficult because for Swiggy, if you're opting for the no kitchen model, they would prefer 4 brands working in unison rather than just one brand. So the revenue of one brand is of course limited compared to a revenue of 4 brands. So as a brand owner, I would advise all 4 brands. If the investor is only adamant, yes, I just want one platform, I'm ready to take the risk, of course we can speak on a personal level, and we can work out a model for you.
Okay. Then one more question, and maybe I'll see if you want to pick up any from the questions which are coming in. We have tried and answered many. So we did talk about a flat royalty of 7% on the entire sales, and grocery per se comparatively has very bleak margins. So the 7% also includes your grocery sales as a royalty format?
No, royalty is excluded from Go Kirana Go. We'll be only taking it from Powman, Hero, and Water Sandwich. For Go Kirana Go, for the business model to operate, of course, retail margins are only 20%. So we have gone on and negotiated with Swiggy and Zomato on a very low commission model. The commission model for Go Kirana Go will be only about 7 to 8%. So even if you're doing a trading of 20%, you're left with a healthy margin of 12%. And yes, we are not taking any royalty on Go Kirana Go sales.
Okay. All right. Great. I think people are wanting your menu, your pricing, a lot of locations which
Definitely,
I'm
whatever
seeing.
collateral needs to be shared, you can always get in touch with me, or you can get in touch with Franchise India. They have the necessary collateral. We'll be able to share with you a complete menu, whatever my presentation was. You can have a look at it. And please do take advantage of the 15th August deal. Secure your investment. You can make sure that you get the investment at a cash discount, at a zero rental model, at a zero franchisee, royalty, renewal fee, all those benefits you get.
Very interesting, Hussein. We can see your energy and your passion towards the business. Keep doing good work, and we certainly would advise our investors that they should come and write if they're really interested. Write a small note. We are already getting a lot of inquiries and calls on our business hotline number. This hotline number we have created for various reasons. One, we want to really do the turnaround time, which is faster. So a lot of people want to have a lot of questions and answers for the brand, so we can quickly do that. Second, they need a lot of insight about the brands, and sometimes they need a value addition from a Franchise India team, that some background and some structure which we can obviously guide. And third, if you need some help in terms of more queries on a category, which means that you want to go deeper into understanding dark kitchen. Sometimes people are new to businesses, and especially these days, we get 50% or more people who are first-time business buyers. They've not done a business, so they need more answers on even the business itself. They want to understand that how food would relate to passion would relate to something. They need some answers on that. That also we are giving as a service today, because we need that at this stage. What we can do at Franchise India best is giving you a lot of education, and we'll continue to bring in great entrepreneurs like Hussein, and who can present a very good brand like he's done. Whataburger is a good performing brand, very strong brand. So we will organize, Hussein, with you day after, say, Discovery Day, where we will take up all the queries with you, because I see a lot of interest coming in. We don't want to hold the interest. A lot of people would like to take a 15 August offer, because the 15 August offer means 13 days to go. So first, I think we need to really do quick calls with you so that they get their queries done. I always advise never rush in the business. Even while offer is good, you want to take it, but you go with your own pace. Choose the business which is right for you. It is a long-term decision for you, and then only it should be taken. But we'll try to do day after special one-on-one discussions with Hussein on, and taking your queries with him. And so last words from you. It's day after would be 4th. Archana, you've written 5th.
4th of August.
It's 4th.
There is one question in the question box. Can I just answer that one question? It's a very interesting question. Mr. Tushar Malhotra, that's his question. That's his name. He's asked, what is our store success ratio before COVID, and how many stores are shut during COVID crisis? All right. So COVID has actually hit us hard. It is totally unprecedented. We were not expecting it. Even though the government allowed us to operate as a delivery kitchen, we had problems of retaining labor. So we were not, we could not hold on to all our labor. We could not secure them, or we could not give them that confidence that you're safe here. Some of them got panicky. They had to move out. On the event of
we lost you.
Going out of labor, but hello.
Yeah, we in between lost you, but now it's back.
Right. So no problem. I'll come back to the thought. Before COVID, is that in the tenure of 7 years, we have had 15 stores, but none of the stores in one store was closed down because of economic reasons. maybe the stores have closed down because of in a situation where the store has to close. We're not made enough proud of, and God willing, it should stick around.
Absolutely, we got the message. I think obviously COVID has hit every business. There's no business which has not been hit. And similarly, I think Hussain also faced some manpower issues, which is now getting better and better. This is a business which you do for long term, and I think delivery is for long term. It's a good opportunity, and if you are willing to participate in this opportunity, please reach out to us, and we will organize your meeting on 4th. Hussain, I just took over and explained what you were saying because I think you were breaking up, and we took that opportunity to explain. So thank you very much, Hussain. Thanks for coming over. We really appreciate you taking your time out, and keep building your dream, keep building your business. Soon, when we do another webinar with you, you should be maybe 30 stores, 40 stores, and keep doing your journey because the journey would continue to rise, and we've seen you grow, and we're very proud of our partnership with you. So you're a good man and good focused person, and worked hard on yourself, and only long-term hard work would pay the results of one day making an Indian, truly Indian sandwich brand, which is equally popular as the international brand.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Over to you, Sonia, for your last remarks.
Thank you so much, Hussain. I think this was very, very interesting conversation. I see a lot of interest which is coming in. And I'd like to request everybody, Ashish ji, I think you're putting again the question of Bhiwadi. He wants to open in Bhiwadi. I would request if you share your profile, and we'll be more than happy to have a one-on-one call on 4th with Mr. Hussain. And I feel overall, cloud kitchen as a category has really picked up in the last 3 to 4 odd months. But in the times to come, when things settle down, I feel hybrid is the way to go, where companies and brands would have both sit down takeaways as well as cloud kitchens. And also cloud kitchens today are more I would say performing for companies where people or consumers have tried and tested before, and all these trusted companies are seeing maybe I would say a bigger value coming out from these stores because consumers somewhere have used these products or have gone to the outlets. And second, I would say per square efficiency, which are maximum here because we are combining a lot of things together. And lastly, I would say there's a lot of de-risking on the investment because there's no equipment. Equipment is one big investment. Interiors is another big investment, which companies, especially in the food segment, end up doing. So between these two, I think a lot of your investment has been taken care of. It's only the operating expenses, which I think in about a month or so, you understand your data, you understand what people are consuming, and accordingly, people can adapt to a delivery model. So I feel great, but I feel a lot of people are looking at many questions which requires more understanding, a detailed discussion with you, Hussain, and we'll be more than happy to take up all these on 4th with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Over to you, Archana, for your final thank you note.
Thank you all the participants who will join us. Yes, we had a great interactive session as said by Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am. If you want to book your slot for 4th of August, you can join us. You can book your slot at 97176-83838. That's our hotline number. For other inquiries, feedback, suggestion, please register yourself with this particular hotline number. Share your profile so that we can select and line up your one-to-one interaction with Hussain. So thank you so much, Mr. Hussain, for taking out time and giving us understanding about all the 4 brands.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, for taking many of the queries, but still all the unanswered queries will definitely come back to all the participants. You can also join Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn IDs. That's the information on your screen. But again, it's a Sunday, it's a special Sunday, and we have one more webinar coming on your way, sharp at 3 o'clock. That's the North. Yeah, so sharp 3 o'clock, we are celebrating Punjab, Haryana, North India franchisee show, where you have opportunity to interact with our top 10 brands along with all our speakers and franchisee guru, Mr. Maria and Sonia Chaudhary. Do not miss this chance. Have your lunch. Join us again at 3 o'clock so that you get
3 o'clock, 15 opportunities are coming, especially for our audience from Punjab and Haryana. It's a show while the brands are available for all India, so you can join in. But 15 opportunities to be represented starting 3 o'clock. Yes, Archana said, आप अपना लंच खत्म करें और उसको दोबारा ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. 3 बजे शुरू होगा वो और 15 डिफरेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज हम प्रेजेंट करेंगे। और हमारे बहुत सारे पार्टनर्स IFCs वो भी हैं, और वो आपसे फिर उसके बाद आपको गाइड करेंगे कि आप बिजनेस कर सकते हैं। We have a large community of independent franchise consultants all over India now in 60 cities, and they are very, very qualified people and very talented people. They're all there to help you out to make a very important decision of your life to buy a business. तो उनकी एडवाइस लीजिए, उनसे डिस्कस करिए। वो आपके शहर के हैं, आपके बिजनेस को समझते हैं, आपके सिटी को समझते हैं, और आपको अच्छा गाइड कर सकते हैं। So another opportunity which is happening tomorrow by the founder, somebody who created one of the biggest revolution called Just Dial. Just Dial एक बहुत कामयाब कंपनी है, listed कंपनी है, और Ramni Iyer is a co-founder for the company called Just Dial. He's revolutionized the whole company. Now he's bringing in another revolutionary product. It's a revolutionary product, and it's a huge opportunity to do that. He will himself present it, a co-founder of Just Dial. Himself is a very, very seasoned investor. He only invests into cutting edge technologies, cutting edge businesses, and we all have seen his success story of Just Dial. तो अगर आप ये सेशन बिल्कुल मिस ना करिए, सब लोग ज्वाइन करिए इस सेशन के लिए, क्योंकि दिस वुड बी अ वेरी, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एंड माय सजेशन टू our consultant friends also is that bring your investors along with you. So it is an opportunity to hear a man who has built such a large company called Just Dial. Tomorrow we will present a very interesting opportunity. It's the largest power bank rental opportunity. Power bank हमारी जिंदगी का हिस्सा बन गया है। हम कपड़े तो ना बदले तो बदलता है, लेकिन पावर बैंक को हमें चार्ज करना ही पड़ता है। तो ये बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, और ये बहुत जल्दी वर्ल्ड में फैल रही है कि कैसे हम इसको कर सकते हैं। दिस इज because this is what we live on, and there's a huge opportunity, and they have proprietary product which they are bringing in. So tomorrow and today 3 o'clock, Punjab Haryana franchise show. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining in. Enjoy your afternoon, and we see you today in the evening and tomorrow 12 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much everyone for joining us today. Thank you so much. Stay safe.